Everyone talks about who takes care of seniors, the caregivers, the family, the community. But no one talks about the seniors who take care of themselves, quietly, powerfully, every single day. Cut to an older woman in her late 70s tying her robe, opening the curtains, smiling faintly at the rising sun. This isn't loneliness, it's mastery. A rhythm earned through years of courage and consistency. The world has it backward. They see someone living alone and assume fragility. What they're really seeing is resilience, the kind that doesn't make headlines, but keeps heart steady. This sets the emotional tone, calm, empowering, and deeply reflective. It's not a story about loss, it's about rediscovery. By the end of this video, you'll see 15 quiet signs that prove strength doesn't fade with age, it deepens. And if you've ever been underestimated, this story is for you. Before we begin, hit like and subscribe, because independence after 60 isn't weakness. It's wisdom in motion. The camera lingers on the woman sipping coffee, sunlight washing over her face, a visual metaphor for the calm power of living on one's own terms. The camera slowly pans across a cozy Vermont cottage filled with sunlight and soft echoes of piano music. Framed family photos rest beside stacks of worn sheet music. A chipped metronome sits proudly on the kitchen table, not hidden away, but displayed like a trophy. Meet Eleanor Finch, 78 years old. A retired piano teacher from Vermont who spent more than 5 decades teaching children how to find harmony, not just in music, but in life. Her mornings begin with tea steeping in a floral cup, the faint sound of piano keys echoing from the next room. She lives alone now, yet her home feels alive, with rhythm, memory, and quiet laughter. She keeps that old metronome right where she can see it. A tiny reminder, she says, that life doesn't have to stay on perfect rhythm, it just has to keep moving forward. 6 years ago, when her husband passed, her daughter begged her to move closer. Everyone assumed Eleanor would shrink her world. Instead, she decided to expand it, not by changing her address, but by changing her outlook. She stayed in the same house, with the same piano, in the same small town, but she rewrote her own tempo. Now, every morning, she chooses strength over sorrow, melody over silence. Eleanor's story reminds us that living alone after 70 isn't a sign of fragility. It's quiet mastery, a lesson in how to stand tall, even when the audience is gone. Sign number 1. They wake up for themselves. Soft sunlight spills across Eleanor's lace curtains as the day begins. No alarm clock, no one calling her name, no list of demands waiting on the kitchen counter. Just the sound of birds outside, the warmth of morning light, and a quiet decision to rise. Seniors who live alone don't wake up because someone tells them to. They wake up because they choose to. That's not loneliness, that's self-leadership. For Eleanor, mornings are sacred. She starts each day by opening her curtains, touching her piano keys, and saying a quiet line to herself, I don't wake up because someone needs me. I wake up because I need me. It's not about routine, it's about renewal. Every morning becomes proof that she still has a reason to begin again. And that purpose, psychologists say, keeps the brain sharp and the heart steady. Recent 2025 research from the American Journal of Aging notes that seniors who live independently report stronger morning alertness and better emotional regulation, because they anchor their mornings in choice, not obligation. Eleanor doesn't rise for praise or applause. She rises for her own peace, and that strength most people overlook. What's the first thing you do each morning that makes you feel grounded? Tell us in the comments. Sign number 2. They keep the past without living in it. In Eleanor's cozy Vermont living room, the gentle hum of her husband's old record player still fills the air, the same songs they once danced to in the kitchen. But where their wedding photos once stood, a colorful world map now hangs, covered in tiny red pins marking every place she still hopes to see. Eleanor didn't erase her past. She rearranged it. She found a way to let love stay without letting grief take over. She says softly, grief didn't trap me, it taught me how to cherish without clinging. Those words carry the quiet wisdom of someone who has learned that letting go isn't forgetting, it's freeing space for what's next. This mirrors a growing movement among older adults in 2025 known as acceptance therapy, which helps seniors transform emotional pain into perspective. Instead of fighting loss, they learn to live alongside it, to honor it, not be haunted by it. Eleanor's strength isn't in pretending the past didn't happen. It's in choosing to keep it close, but not let it hold her back. She still plays that record player every Sunday, but now, when the music plays, she doesn't cry. She smiles. That's the quiet miracle of aging well, when memories stop being chains and start becoming companions. What's one keepsake from your past that still brings you peace today? Share it in the comments. Sign number 3. They redefine safety as power. Eleanor's home doesn't feel like a fortress, it feels like freedom disguised as comfort. Her living room lights glow on automatically as she walks through at dusk. Her smart watch gently reminds her to take her evening medication. The stove shuts off if she forgets, and a motion sensor near the stairs turns on a soft amber light at night. She doesn't rely on technology because she's afraid. She uses it because she's wise. Eleanor smiles when people call her tech-savvy. She simply says, "Technology isn't for the young. It's for the wise who know why it matters." Every gadget she installs isn't about control, it's about confidence. In 2025, this mindset has grown into a national movement called smart aging, where older adults embrace tech as a form of empowerment, not dependence. From wearable health monitors that detect early heart irregularities to voice-activated grocery lists, seniors across the US are showing that safety can coexist with style and autonomy. Eleanor's independence doesn't come from rejecting help, it comes from redefining it. By integrating tools that protect her privacy and peace of mind, she's proving that strength in later life is not about resisting change, but adapting to it beautifully. Real strength isn't pretending you don't need help, it's being smart enough to design your own kind of help. Would you trust smart tech to help you live independently longer? Tell us what you think below. Sign number 4. They heal privately. Healing doesn't always happen in group circles or therapy rooms. Sometimes, it happens in the quiet hum of a home at 6 a.m., when the world is still and the heart finally speaks. For Eleanor, healing became a ritual, a slow, sacred process she never rushes. Every morning, she opens her worn leather journal and writes one page. Not for anyone else to read. Not for closure. But for clarity. She doesn't perform her healing for sympathy. She practices it for survival. Eleanor writes about her fears, her small victories, and even the grocery clerk who made her smile. Over time, those pages turned into proof that she's lived, learned, and loved beyond loss. The act isn't about fixing pain. It's about witnessing it, and in doing so, lightening it. According to 2025 wellness data, more seniors are turning to reflective solitude therapy, a form of self-guided emotional processing that helps regulate stress hormones and improve sleep. Unlike group counseling, it honors privacy, something older adults value deeply. Eleanor describes it best. When you live alone, you learn that silence doesn't hurt. It heals, if you listen long enough. Solitude isn't emptiness. It's where the heart grows back stronger. Have you found peace in your quiet moments? Share what helps you heal in the comments. Sign number 5. They turn homes into mirrors of dignity. When you walk into Eleanor's cottage, you don't see a space that belongs to someone old. You see a space that belongs to someone alive. Sunlight spills across her piano keys, lavender plants line her windowsill, and every wall glows with soft colors she chose, not to impress anyone, but to comfort herself. Her home isn't large, but it feels vast, because it's built around what matters: calm, clarity, and care. Eleanor often says, "I don't decorate for guests anymore. I decorate for peace." Every object has a purpose: the metronome that keeps rhythm, the framed sheet music she refuses to dust too often, the chair by the window that catches the morning light. They're not signs of isolation. They're symbols of independence. In 2025, more older adults in the US are embracing age-positive interiors, a movement centered around self-respect in personal spaces. It's not about sterile safety rails and beige furniture. It's about designing homes that honor confidence, identity, and grace. Experts say when seniors shape their environments with intention, it leads to measurable boosts in emotional health, memory recall, and sleep quality. When you live alone, your home becomes your reflection. And what Eleanor's reflects is quiet dignity, not decline. If your home could speak, what story would it tell about you? Share it below. Sign number 6. They handle life's logistics like pros. When you live alone, no one reminds you when the bills are due, the faucet leaks, or the tax forms arrive in the mail, and yet, millions of older adults across America handle it all with the quiet confidence of CEOs of their own lives. Eleanor laughs softly as she opens her laptop each Monday morning, a habit she's kept since retirement. I may not work 9 to 5 anymore, she says, but this is my board meeting. Her desk is neatly arranged, a notebook of passwords, an automatic bill tracker, and a jar of peppermint candies she uses as meeting treats. It's not about the chores. It's about control. Financial advisors across the US are seeing a steady rise in senior self-management workshops, programs teaching retirees digital banking, password security, online budgeting, and even how to recognize financial scams. What surprises most experts is not how fast seniors learn, but how confidently they apply these skills. For Eleanor, balancing her checkbook isn't just about numbers. It's a declaration that she's still capable, still sharp, still in charge. Researchers call this phenomenon identity preservation through competence, the idea that managing your own logistics strengthens your sense of purpose. It's not about resisting help, it's about proving, every day, that independence is earned through awareness, not age. What's one task you still take pride in managing yourself? Let's celebrate it in the comments. Sign number 7. They laugh without needing an audience. There's a special kind of laughter that fills a home when no one else is around, the kind that comes not from company, but from comfort. Seniors who live alone often rediscover humor as a quiet survival skill, not a performance. Eleanor has a ritual. Every evening, she makes a cup of chamomile tea and turns on an old rerun of The Golden Girls. Sometimes, she laughs so loudly that her neighbor's cat jumps off the porch rail. It's not about the joke, she says. It's about remembering what joy feels like in your own voice. Experts call this humor resilience, the ability to find lightness even in solitude. It's one of the most underappreciated emotional strengths among older adults. Studies from 2025 show that seniors who regularly engage in laughter, whether through comedies, reading, or even funny memories, experience lower cortisol levels and report higher satisfaction with daily life. Eleanor doesn't wait for company to share a joke. She tells it to the empty kitchen, to her plants, or to the universe itself. Because laughter, at its purest, isn't social. It's spiritual. It's the sound of a strong heart reminding itself that life, even in silence, can still sparkle. What show, movie, or moment always makes you laugh, even when you're alone? Share it below, someone might need that laugh today. Sign number 8. They build hidden strength. Strength isn't always measured in weights lifted or miles walked. Sometimes, it's found in the rhythm of everyday living. Seniors who live alone often maintain a kind of quiet physical fitness that no gym membership can offer. It's the strength built from bending to water plants, carrying laundry, opening jars, and walking to the mailbox with confidence instead of caution. Eleanor jokes, "My groceries are my gym," as she unloads her bags one at a time, never rushing, always steady. Her doctor calls her mobility remarkable for her age, but she just calls it life. This is what new 2025 research calls functional fitness longevity, the health benefits gained from ordinary, consistent movement. It's not about pushing harder, it's about staying active with intention. Experts say this kind of strength protects balance, prevents injury, and even boosts mood. The body stays responsive because it's used, not neglected. Living alone naturally encourages motion. No one else is there to fetch, lift, or tidy up, so independence becomes its own workout. Eleanor doesn't see these moments as exercise. She sees them as proof. Proof that she's capable, grounded, and still moving through her world on her own terms. What's one small daily task that keeps you feeling strong and independent? Share it. Your routine might inspire someone else. Sign number 9. They master modern connection. For today's seniors, connection isn't limited by distance, it's powered by adaptability. Living alone doesn't mean being isolated. it means learning to bridge gaps in new ways. Eleanor, once hesitant about technology, now uses Zoom to teach piano to neighborhood children and reconnect with her college friends from decades ago. Connection doesn't disappear with age, she says softly. It evolves. This is part of a growing 2025 trend known as Tech for Companionship, led by AARP and senior innovation centers across the US. More older adults are using video calls, digital hobby groups, and smart home hubs to maintain relationships and prevent social decline. What used to feel like intimidating technology has become a bridge, one that keeps independence strong without sacrificing emotional closeness. Eleanor's living room has transformed into a digital studio. Her students call her Miss E, and their laughter fills her afternoons. For her, these calls aren't just lessons, they're lifelines of purpose. Studies now show seniors who stay digitally connected experience 20% higher emotional well-being and slower cognitive decline. Eleanor ends each call smiling, not because she's teaching music, but because she's proving that growth never stops, no matter your age. Have you learned a new tech skill after 60? Tell us what it changed for you in the comments. Sign number 10. They talk to themselves with kindness. When you live alone, your inner voice becomes your closest companion, and for many seniors, that voice has finally softened. After decades of self-blame, comparison, and should-haves, something shifts. The tone becomes patient, forgiving, even warm. Eleanor says, "I finally speak to myself the way I spoke to my students, with patience." This transformation isn't accidental. It's part of a new mental wellness wave among older adults. In 2025, therapists and geriatric wellness coaches call it positive self-talk therapy, a practice that helps seniors replace criticism with compassion. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that older adults who practice kind inner dialogue report lower stress levels, better sleep, and a 25% improvement in emotional resilience. Eleanor keeps small affirmations on sticky notes by her piano. "You did enough today." "Rest is productive." "Grace over guilt." She smiles at them like old friends. That's what living alone teaches, not to silence the inner voice, but to rein it. Because when your days are quieter, your thoughts echo louder, and turning them kind becomes the most powerful act of self-care there is. Have you noticed your inner voice changing with age? Tell us what you've learned about being kinder to yourself. Sign number 11. They create micro-rituals that keep them grounded. There's a quiet kind of wisdom that comes from doing small things with big meaning. For seniors living alone, it's not the grand moments that bring comfort, it's the rituals. The steady cup of tea at 4 p.m., the same favorite bench for sunset, the familiar hum of a song from 1962 while folding laundry. These small patterns give structure to days that no longer revolve around work, deadlines, or others' needs. Eleanor describes it best. "When I brew my tea, I'm not just making a drink, I'm reminding myself that I'm still here, still choosing peace." She lights the same vanilla candle each evening before playing her piano for 15 minutes, saying it feels like closing the day with grace. Psychologists now call this practice daily meaning therapy, a mental wellness approach where seniors use repetitive, intentional acts to regulate mood, improve memory, and anchor themselves in the present. 2025 wellness studies confirm that these gentle habits lower anxiety and promote cognitive balance by reinforcing a sense of purpose. It's not about routine for routine's sake. It's about creating a rhythm of calm in a noisy world, a reminder that even simple acts can be sacred. Do you have a daily ritual that brings you calm? Share yours in the comments, it might inspire someone today. Sign number 12. They fight quiet health battles with courage. There's a kind of bravery that never makes headlines, the one that happens behind closed doors. For many seniors living alone, strength isn't about lifting weights or running marathons. It's about waking up on days when the body aches, taking medication on schedule, attending appointments alone, and still finding reasons to smile afterward. Eleanor describes it softly but firmly. "I may rest often, but I never stop showing up for me." Some days, her knees ache too much to garden, so she tends to her indoor plants instead. Other days, she walks slowly to her mailbox just to feel the air and remind herself she's still moving forward. These quiet victories don't make noise, but they mean everything. Health experts in 2025 note that older adults who live independently often show stronger emotional recovery after illness because they're forced to develop self-reliance and optimism. It's not denial, it's discipline. They manage their health with precision, courage, and faith that tomorrow deserves a chance too. Eleanor keeps her medical notes organized beside her favorite lamp. It's not a reminder of what's wrong, she says, it's proof of everything I've survived. Have you faced a tough season and kept going anyway? Share a word of encouragement for someone who might need it today. Sign number 13, they keep dreaming. For many people, dreams fade with age. But for seniors living alone, they often return, clearer, braver, and more personal than ever. Eleanor sits by her piano each morning, running her fingers gently across the keys. Before my hands forget, she says, I want to record the music I never had time to share. It's not about fame or perfection, it's about legacy, the quiet kind that lives in sound, memory, and courage. Across the US, more older adults are joining what experts are calling the Senior Dream Project movement, a 2025 trend where retirees finally chase the passions they postponed for decades, writing memoirs, starting small online shops, painting, recording music, or even traveling solo. These dreams are not reckless, they're restorative. They heal the years that were spent caring for others by finally caring for the self. Eleanor laughs as she sets up a tiny microphone on her piano. I may not go viral, but I'll go fulfilled. For seniors like her, every new goal, no matter how small, is a declaration, I'm still becoming. What's a dream you've kept tucked away for years? Share it below, maybe it's time to bring it back to life. Sign number 14, they turn loneliness into legacy. For many older adults living alone, solitude transforms from emptiness into expression. It's no longer about passing time, it's about pouring time into something meaningful. Eleanor spends her Wednesdays at the local youth center, teaching piano to children who can't afford lessons. She laughs softly and says, I used to fill my time. Now, I fill hearts. What was once quiet becomes purpose. What was once solitude becomes service. Across the US, more seniors are part of what experts now call the legacy shift, a growing 2025 movement where retirees channel their energy into volunteering, mentoring, and creative projects that outlive them. From knitting blankets for NICUs to reading to kids in libraries or planting trees in memory of loved ones, they're turning isolation into influence. For Eleanor, legacy isn't a grand monument, it's the gentle way her students' hands find rhythm, the laughter that echoes through the hallways she helps fill with music. I can't change the whole world, she says, but I can leave small ripples that outlast me. What's one way you'd like to be remembered? A story, a craft, a kindness? Share it in the comments and let's build a legacy together. Sign number 15. They know peace is the real strength. At some point, strength stops looking like what it used to, no longer a fight, a climb, or a loud declaration. For many seniors living alone, strength becomes something far deeper, quieter, and more sacred: peace. Eleanor often sits by her living room window at dusk, watching the Vermont sky fade from gold to lavender. There's no rush to fill the silence, no need to prove she's doing fine. Her peace isn't performance, it's presence. She whispers, strength at this age isn't about holding on. It's about letting go. Letting go of expectations, of old comparisons, of the need to constantly explain yourself to people who still think aging means decline. In truth, this kind of peace is the reward earned only after decades of surviving storms. It's the calm that comes when you've built your own stability, one quiet day at a time. Researchers now call it emotional maturity aging, a 2025 concept describing seniors who have transcended the need for validation and who measure life not by what they've lost, but by how fully they can breathe in the moment. These individuals report lower stress levels, higher satisfaction, and a profound sense of completion, not because everything is perfect, but because they've learned how to stop wrestling with what can't be changed. Eleanor describes it simply: I no longer chase peace. I live in it. Her words reflect the evolution of strength, from physical to spiritual, from loud to graceful. Every morning, she waters her plants, makes her tea, and plays a few slow piano notes, not for anyone else, but for herself. That's what true power looks like at this stage, the courage to exist gently. What does peace look like for you these days? A quiet home? A walk at sunrise? Tell us below. Your version might inspire someone else to find theirs. Not every kind of strength can be seen. Some don't live in muscles or medals, they live in moments like Eleanor's. Paying bills on time, laughing at her own jokes, making coffee before dawn, or saying a quiet prayer before bed. These are the victories no one claps for but that define real independence. Eleanor isn't surviving, she's evolving. Her days aren't about proving she can still do it all, they're about knowing she doesn't have to. That's what freedom really looks like after 70. A life that's not rushed, not compared, and not borrowed from anyone else's expectations. Just peace earned, day by day. This is the strength most people overlook, the strength you don't post, the strength you live. It's the courage to live without applause, the wisdom to know when to rest, and the grace to keep showing up for yourself, even when no one's watching. So, if Eleanor's story reminded you how powerful quiet independence can be, hit like, share this video, and subscribe to Elderly Dose. Because here, we don't see aging as decline, we see it as becoming. Every story, every wrinkle, every sunrise is proof that life keeps unfolding beautifully at every age. Up next, 10 morning habits that help seniors stay independent in 2025. You'll want to start tomorrow with that one.